a Bitcoin ETF approval could be just hours away, and the results of this are unprecedented. Nothing we have ever seen on this level before has taken place in cryptocurrency. If approved, we could see some of the biggest daily moves in Bitcoin ever seen before, or at least that's what they're saying. In this video, I'm going to break down the overall sentiment of the market, whether or not this ETF gets approved, and how we need to play this, because you better believe you need to be prepared. Hit that like button. Let's get into today's video. Now guys, over on Twitter, or X, link down below, I recently talked about this. I put up a post saying, alert, SEC may unveil the approval for a spot ETF in the next couple of days. What is your thought? And this has caused a huge frenzy to take place. Lots of people waiting for pullbacks, lots of people waiting for life-changing pumps. Where do you stand on this? Well, hopefully by the end of this video, you'll be a little clearer. But one thing you need to be damn cautious of right now in a time like this is the news and the overall sentiment of the market, and understand what the news is there to do and to encourage us to do. This is CryptoPanic.com, a news aggregator site, and there is a lot of rubbish news in here, but there's also a lot of useful stuff. And just looking overall, the broad brush of what we're seeing, Bitcoin set to break 50K because of ETF approval, all that good stuff. Lots of excitement across the world of ETFs. But here comes the first warning. This is the Wall Street cheat sheet. You'll notice that at different times of this market cycle, there is different psychology of people playing out. People are happy, people are sad, people are angry, people are euphoric, okay? And this all is very key, because this atmosphere is created by a couple of things. It's not just the price action, but it's also the media coverage. The media coverage is very important because lots of media is there to manipulate you to make decisions in crypto. We also need to be aware of this. It's a useful diagram from the Binance Academy. Buy the rumor, sell the news. At the moment, people are saying that maybe the ETF is already priced in because everyone's anticipating it being launched by around January the 10th. Therefore, you might assume that everyone is buying in right now, speculating on the news, and if approved or rejected or whatever, everyone will just sell it at the top anyway, causing a price to drop. So that's often we've seen in the past when you think this is a really positive, good piece of news, and suddenly the price goes down. This is why. Okay, so now we understand a couple of things. We know that the price can be manipulated by the overall psychology in the market, but as I've just shown you from my Twitter and my Telegram group, etc., this market is not euphoric. I don't believe that we're at the top of the market cycle because half the people are saying that they're waiting for a pullback and half people are aping in, which means that there is an imbalance, an uncertainty in the market, which from my own point of view means we continue in the direction that we are currently going until everyone flips bullish, and then maybe we get the good pullback. Also, the news itself remains kind of balanced. There is positive news out there all the time about this Bitcoin ETF, but there's also other stuff saying that we might get delayed, it's likely to get delayed till March, etc. So why is the news so important to us, and why should we be so damn cautious of reading the news? Well, there's a few big banks in the space. Here, on the 3rd of November 2021, JP Morgan, one of the world's biggest banks, said that they would likely see a Bitcoin hit $146,000. Now, just going across to Google and looking at JP Morgan's profits, you can see that recently they made a net income of $13.15 billion, up 35% year on year. In June, you can see that they made a net income of $14.47 billion. Up 67% year on year. March, you can see 12 billion. December, 11 billion. And you can see they're pretty good at making money. I think you'll agree. So why on the 3rd of November 2021 were they telling us that Bitcoin was going to go to 146K when they were really wrong? This is around the 3rd of November, somewhere around here on the Bitcoin chart. JP Morgan made that call, 146K. When Bitcoin was at 70K, guess what happens? Everyone gets mauled towards the downside as everyone sells off. We then more recently get this news article from CNBC. Jamie Dimon, the CEO of JP Morgan, lashes out again against crypto. If I was the government, I would close it down. And that's interesting because this kind of comes in the middle of a market cycle. Jamie Dimon in the past around here said that Bitcoin was basically useless and was going to go to nothing. And then literally just now we've got Jamie Dimon coming in saying that JP Morgan will support BlackRock in its launch of its ETF. So what do we know from this? Well, you can't really trust what the news is saying, but ultimately, when something sounds really good and positive, be like maybe more negative and more bearish. And on the flip side of things, if something sounds really bearish and negative, maybe it's time to accumulate. But because we're in the middle of this kind of market between like highs and lows, and we're kind of around here, then you wouldn't be able to necessarily tell which way it's going to go. And you're like, well, what's the point of me watching this? Well, guys, let me tell you this. Right now, if you're there looking to try and juice up your confirmation bias and know that I've sold up because I think there's going to be a pullback and I'm right, or you want someone else to tell you that you're holding for a good reason because it's going to go up, you got like a 50% chance of it coming off. This ETF or whatever it is just a smokescreen. It's just there to confuse you because none of this news that you're seeing at any particular time is doing anything other than trying to make you make a decision one way or another to favor the organization that's talking about the news. JP Morgan 2 times told us to buy the top of the bull market. 2 times they were wrong, but they were obviously making money. That's why they're profitable all the time. They're trying to get you to buy from them so they can sell at these levels. They did the same, telling you to sell to them when they wanted to buy down at these levels. Therefore, we can't really trust the news. The overall sentiment, etc., we can't really trust. If a Bitcoin ETF comes out, then I anticipate in my own heart of hearts that the move up is going to be absolutely massive. But it's not necessarily going to happen because of the news. It's more fundamentally because of where we are in the overall crypto market cycle. And coming down to this post from Gert van Lagen, who's a crypto analyst and does some really good breakdowns on charts, basically talks about this. He's talking about the fact that he doesn't think that the ETF is priced in. He thinks that we are currently around kind of like the base 3 kind of finish here and kind of starting to move into this leg up before a base 4. You can see that this would see a move up to around $110,000 Bitcoin in a very short space of time. This is based on fundamentals. It also does a lot of other very detailed breakdowns. There are also a lot of other people on Twitter who have very bearish negative sentiment and think that we are about to dump down towards the downside and that this ETF is basically being used as a massive, massive bull trap. Who's right? I don't know. Does anyone know? No. So the only thing we can do is act accordingly, knowing that whatever our choice is has to be able to handle both scenarios playing out. If I'm anticipating a pullback because I think Bitcoin is overbought and whatever else, then I need to be all right with myself if Bitcoin goes and does that move that we've just sort of heard about and kind of pulls up to these kind of levels and possibly pushes to around sort of $80,000 to $100,000. Is it possible? Absolutely. It's crypto. Anything can happen at any time. I also need to be prepared that if I'm going to go all in, that I'm all right with Bitcoin rolling over to say 36, maybe even down to like $29,000. Can I live with half my investment for the next 6 months or so? Well, it depends. It depends on you, depends on your situation. But you must understand whatever the choice you make right now shouldn't be dependent on your own kind of feeling or your gut feeling. It should be strictly dependent on if scenario A happens, am I all right? If scenario B happens, am I all right? Because both of these scenarios can happen at any moment. And this is true throughout crypto. So here's the problem. We obviously don't want to be in the market if it dumps against us. And we obviously want to be in the market if it does pump. Because if it does pump and we're not in the market, then we get roasted. And if it dumps and we are in the market, we get roasted. There is only one way I can see fit to strategizing what to do right now. We can see the market is running quite hot. It's running into this area of resistance through here. I expect that Bitcoin will push to around 47 to 48k in the next few days. If that ETF comes out and gets approved, who knows what happens? Maybe Bitcoin does go to 70k plus, and it can happen. These sort of parabolic moves can happen. So obviously we need exposure to the markets, which means we need to be holding coins. Right now, in an uptrend, which is clearly what we are in, because we are going up with higher lows each time, and this is pretty much true of every crypto right now, then the uptrend is the direction that we will continue in. Now, obviously that can go against us. We get pullbacks. So do I take profits? Personally, I don't take a huge amount of profits right now. If I'm taking profits from like Solana or other coins that have been doing really well, I pull it out, I put it into Bitcoin, I put it into other large cap altcoins right now on a personal note. But if I'm not sure about whether to take profits or not, ultimately, maybe I would just be like, I might as well stay in because we're in an uptrend. The market is in an uptrend. This is Bitcoin rainbow chart over on blockchaincenter.net. And you can see that Bitcoin is currently sat in this green level of still cheap. Okay, it's not even still cheap. It's in accumulate phase. The next level up is still cheap. And then you can see it kind of moves up like that. This is overall telling us that crypto is in an upward trajectory market. So trying to be too greedy and not having exposure, anticipating pullbacks is just greedy. So then I need to be ready for every eventuality. And every eventuality is if there is a pullback, what can I do about it? How do I feel calm and collected if it pulls back against me? I don't feel that way if I'm all in. If I'm all in right now into any coin and it rips back against me, it's going to panic me and I'm probably going to end up panic selling. How do I stop myself from panic selling? Well, I need something that's going to make me feel a little bit sweeter, a little bit better if that scenario plays out. And the only way is to have a cash reserve, USDT reserve, whatever it is. Why? If the markets pull back against me, then I have the opportunity to DCA in, dollar cost average in. Bitcoin, let's say, pulls back down to here. And yeah, I would have had a lot more money if it stayed up there. But now I get to buy in cheaper. Happy days. I'm anticipating, remember, that Bitcoin is going to carry on higher in the future. I don't know where it's going to go tomorrow. I don't know where it's going to go the next day. But I know it's going to be worth a lot more in the future than it is now. If you don't believe that, then you probably shouldn't be in crypto. But if you believe that Bitcoin is worth more in the future than 45k, then, you know, you look to DCA in whenever you get the chance. As it kind of continues higher, we might likely see a significant pullback at all-time highs, okay? Somewhere around sort of 65 to 70k. And if we continue upwards to maybe that level, that's where I might consider taking some profits off the table. If we get to pull back down here, then I would go and DCA into it. Now, where would I DCA in if I'm new to all this, and how do I do it? I covered this on a video I made on ICP yesterday, so make sure you go and check that out if you want to know exactly what I would do with that, but here's an easy one. So now imagine that I've got my 80% or whatever it is in crypto right now, and the market continues to push towards the upside. I'm happy days, okay? I can just chill out, wait for a potential pullback if I ever get them. Maybe I don't even get the chance to DCA in which case I've still got more money than I started with. I'm definitely happy. Now, if we dip down to a 4 hour, we might see something very interesting play out. Now, what we want to focus on is this in Bitcoin, because I want to show you something. Now, imagine that we haven't even seen this happen yet, and we're just currently sat around here. Now, we can see these wicks towards the upside slowing down the price. It means that the sellers are coming in and the buyers are getting exhausted. That is all a chart tells us. Now, what do we need to know? Well, where did this last big pump, these big candles here, where did they originate from? So we can get this rectangle and we can draw this. I'm going to make it green so that I know that if it pulls back into this area, then personally I can buy in this area. Notice it goes sideways, 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 pumps big. What do I want to know? Well, this is a big pump that tells me that big money wanted to buy in this area. I can zoom out and I can draw a box across like this. Now I know that every time in which Bitcoin is pulling back into this area, it's an area that big money who is buying here is willing to buy at. And you can see it even goes down below that. But you would have been happy buying in anywhere in this green box or under. And then eventually notice the order block gets filled, completed, and now the price must continue up. That means we would have captured ourselves a 10% move rather than buying up here. And then from the 6th of December till literally yesterday being in the red. We don't want to be in the red for too long if we don't have to be. So we wait for pullbacks towards these zones. Now you'll see that Bitcoin could do this. Let's say it continues up like this for a while and then has a little bit of like sideways play and then does this. Now we can establish that our next buy zone is in here. And if Bitcoin then kind of pulls back into this area, then we get our next kind of buy-in option. And you will notice that this buy zone up here is much higher than this one. But at some point, if you keep buying tops of coins and thinking that you're going to be happy and whatever, you will get wrecked and one of them will just blow off. So this is a very good method to just stay disciplined. Remember, you've got your gains that you made from buying in down here. You then get another opportunity to buy in here. You can take profits. You can do whatever. Okay, but ultimately, you want a systematic approach where you know comfortably that if the price drops into your zone, then you can buy happily. And it will take away the pain of that recent drop because you know you can now get in cheaper for the longer term. Essentially, Bitcoin runs very hot for the next few weeks. I want exposure. I don't want to be out in the markets waiting for a pullback that I don't know really is going to come or not. Because if I'm out in the markets and tomorrow I wake up and Bitcoin's doubled in value, it's going to really, really sting. There's two things I can do. Let's say I want to wait for a pullback here. Let's say it was going to pull back. I can right click and I can add an alert here and just say Bitcoin crossing. And I can say buy BTC or Peter buys BTC. Okay, whatever. Okay, create alert. Now, if it dips into there, I get an alert telling me to buy it. Or I can do this, which is very easy. I can come across to MEXC. Link down below in the description where you get up to $1,000 bonus. But why I use MEXC, like 4,000 different altcoins, absolute no-brainer. And the fees are incredibly low. So if you're trading on like Coinbase and stuff, guys, don't do it. It's going to cost you more money than you can even imagine. And you're going to lose all your money in crypto to coin fees anyway. Go to MEXC, 0.1% spot maker, 0.01% futures fees. Crazy, crazy low. And if you're in the US or the UK, you're like, oh, I can't use it. Go to NordVPN, also linked down below. You get 4 months for free, and then it's $2.50 per month. This will allow you to drop yourself into another country where you can access any exchange you want, like MEXC. None of this, I can't use it because I'm in US, or I can't use it. This is how you do it, okay? Also, it stops people spying on you using your crypto trading and all that stuff. It keeps you secure and safe from anyone trying to hack you in the future. Now we're over here on MEXC and we've created our account. Go to spot and you'll see it says that Bitcoin. Now, imagine that I've got a buy zone somewhere down here. Let's just say that this is our buy zone for ease of use at $4,400. Now, I don't have time to watch Bitcoin and crypto all day long because I'm busy and sometimes I'm asleep. So what I can do is this, where it says limit, click on limit, and then go down to where it says this is the price, $43,500. So $43,500. Remember, I want to buy Bitcoin if it goes to $43,500. So this is what I do. I go for price, $43,500, and then I can make sure it says limit, and I can just say the amount I want to pay. For example, here, massive $32.01 buy Bitcoin. Now what happens, you can see my order is sat here. This order is not filled. Only if the price of Bitcoin drops down to there will it fill my order. What's great about this is this. Sometimes Bitcoin does stuff like this on the way up, where it will wick down and do things like this, and then suddenly you can see this. Now this is great because sometimes it will fill orders without even realizing it, and when it fills orders, sometimes it will go and pump all the way to the upside, so you can get in at the very right price. If you're able to identify buy zones and things clearly, you can absolutely kill it by being a bit more patient. It also allows you to stop FOMOing in and being much more calm. You can use other exchanges, but MEXC is the cheapest with the most different coins available. That's why I use it. All linked down below in the description, guys. So what's the verdict? Are we going to have this ETF approved? Of course, at some point this Bitcoin ETF will get approved. Will it get approved right now? I don't know. Does anyone know? Absolutely not. What is the result of it getting approved? I don't know. What's the result of it not being approved? I also don't know. No one knows. And be very cautious of anyone telling you exactly what is going to play out if this happens or that happens. All we need to know is we need to have a plan. My plan is to hold and DCA in, or dollar cost average in, if we get any good dips. And this is the only strategy I can think of that's suitable for a bull market. We're in a bull market. Whether we get a big pullback or not, we're in an uptrend. Bitcoin can go down to 30k and we're still in an uptrend. So play as if you don't know what's going to happen, and don't get made to feel because of your confirmation bias that something is definitely going to play out, because it will lead you into a world of pain. Personally, according to my own confirmation bias, this Bitcoin ETF is going to get approved and it's going to be big. And I think we could see very nice pumps, maybe towards 55, 60k in the shorter term. I actually think that we might go towards all-time highs before we get a significant pullback. So let's see what happens. Now, guys, I get it. Crypto is a difficult place to understand. There is so much noise and information out there right now, which is why myself and my friend Peter Voogd created the Crypto VIP League. Now, in the last bull market, Peter made over 7 figures in cryptocurrency and has brought in with him a team of other experts who've also made themselves between 6 and 7 figures during the last bull market as well. This has enabled us to ensure that only the best top quality content is posted, and we ensure that we are only posting a couple of coins each week that we are investing in. We do live Zoom calls where we go over people's portfolios and break down the very latest projects. As well as that, we talk about all the projects and things that we're accumulating before they get mentioned on YouTube or any of the other communities out there. Now, currently this is available for $97 per month, but we will be increasing the price in the next couple of weeks. Therefore, if you want to lock in that price point for a lifetime, then make sure you sign up. Crypto VIP League, just linked down below. There's a video here explaining more details on what you'll receive, as well as all this other stuff where you'll receive, where each month you'll gain access to millionaire speakers and all sorts of other different ways in which you can build wealth into the future after these cryptocurrency bull markets are over. We've put in a huge amount of effort into it, guys. So make sure you go and find out more, link down below in the description. I hope you enjoyed today's video, guys. Do me a favor, hit that like button, subscribe. See you in the next one. Bye-bye.